There isn't a Filipino alive today who doesn't know Jose Rizal's name. But did you know there's another Rizal who's just as incredible? Today, we learn about General Paciano Rizal, Jose's dearest kuya, and one of the amazing minds that paved the way for the Philippines' independence. Calamba, Laguna, 1851. Paciano Rizal Mercado y Alonso Realonda was born as the second child to the wealthy couple Francisco Mercado and Teodora Alonso. Both parents were hacienderos, leaseholders of a rice farm held by Dominicans. Despite their relative wealth and privilege, Francisco and Teodora never let their children shy away from learning about the harsh realities that happened to the majority of the Filipinos at the time. Over the years, the Rizal family would welcome 9 more children, and each grew up to be extraordinary in their own way. As Jose's only brother, he and Paciano shared a strong bond. Some say he was pivotal in his little brother's success, and indeed, in the fight for Philippine independence. In fact, national artist Nick Joaquin even said, without Paciano to back him up, it's doubtful that Rizal would have gotten as far as he reached. Recognizing his little brother's great potential, Paciano helped his parents in choosing only the best and brightest tutors for young Jose's education. Later on, he even acted as Jose's guardian while the younger brother was in school. As for his own education, Paciano studied Latin under Maestro Justiniano Cruz. Later on, he enrolled at the Colegio de San Jose in Manila. While in the city, Paciano lived with Father Jose A. Burgos, a Filipino priest who heavily advocated for the secularization movement, which made him a known target of the Spanish government. Father Burgos would later be known as one of 3 martyr priests who were executed for their subversion, collectively known as Gumbulsa. Under Burgos's tutelage, Paciano was exposed to the abuse and oppression initiated by the Spanish clergy and colonial government. Together with his friends Felipe Buencamino and Gregorio Sanciano, Paciano decided to create the student organization known as La Juventud Liberal, or the Liberal Youth. And indeed, this group of students embodied the nationalist desires of the Filipino youth at the time. Among their tasks was to discreetly distribute copies of the paper El Eco Filipino, a nationalist publication that published articles advocating for Philippine autonomy. Because of Paciano's close connection with Father Burgos, as well as his own outspokenness about Spanish priests' abuses, he was even prohibited from taking his final examinations in school. But this didn't stop Paciano from speaking out. Instead, he just became more and more entwined in the revolutionary movement. He became an active member of the propaganda movement for social reform. He collected funds for the organization and solicited money for the nationalist paper Diaryong Tagalog. He also actively recruited new members in his hometown of Laguna. Throughout all of this, he also remained an active supporter of his brother Jose. He helped Jose get to Europe and even sent him regular allowances while he was there. The letters between the two brothers during this time remain one of the most enlightening historical sources from this period. Paciano's loyalty to his brother would eventually land him in hot water. In 1896, Paciano was arrested because he refused to sign documents that could incriminate Jose and confirm his connection to the revolution. Aiming to get information out of him, Paciano was also tortured behind bars. But he never broke, knowing that whatever he said could harm his brother and the revolution. Though he tried his best to save him, Paciano's dearest brother and confidant was executed that same year. One of the last letters Jose ever wrote was for none other than his most beloved kuya. Now I am about to die, and it is to you that I dedicate my last lines, to tell you how sad I am to leave you alone in life, Jose wrote in his prison cell. He thanked Paciano's endless support for Jose and his career. I know that you have suffered a lot for my sake, and I am sorry. The last words of the letter are heartbreakingly about the Rizal brothers' father. During his final hours, Jose wrote, "Tell our father I remember him, and how I remember my whole childhood, his affection and his love. Ask him to forgive me for the pain that I have unwillingly caused him." Jose Rizal was executed on December 30, 1896. We cannot imagine the grief that Paciano must have had to deal with, all while still in the middle of war. Paciano vowed not to let Jose's legacy go to waste. He kept fighting for what Jose fought for and made sure to see it till the end. After Jose was executed, Paciano became Brigadier General of the Revolutionary Army. He was even appointed military commander of the Revolutionary Forces in his hometown of Laguna, where he was briefly captured by U.S. troops in 1900. When the Philippine-American War ended, Paciano retired to Los Baños, Laguna. Finally free from all the violence and fighting, Paciano could finally enjoy a quiet life. He spent the rest of his days quietly and calmly while working as a farmer. Paciano Rizal died peacefully on April 13, 1930. He was 79 years old. Paciano Rizal may be the lesser-known Rizal brother, but his story is one of quiet bravery and strength. His outspokenness against injustice and loyalty to the revolutionary movement indeed make him worthy of the name Rizal. In learning about our history, we should also do our best to know about lesser-known heroes like Paciano Rizal. They may not be as famous, but they sure as hell were just as important. Do you have a kuya as supportive as Paciano? Let us know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, and tune in for more videos on Philippine history.